Over the 3 seasons of its ongoing narrative, Netflix's adaptation of The Umbrella Academy has gradually revealed a ton of its hidden details. As each season has piled on questions, they've also answered many of them. One of the most fundamental questions in this superhero story was left blank in the early chapters. How did the Hargreaves family get their iconic superpowers? People are pretty sick of superhero origin stories. The Umbrella Academy skips around 90% of the conventions of that kind of story. Most members of the Hargreaves family aren't superheroes. Their early days as crime fighters ended over a decade before the story begins, and fans meet them fully formed. Though most of them no longer live the hero lifestyle, their powers still inform a lot of their daily lives. The Umbrella Academy powers, explained. At the beginning of the Umbrella Academy, the premise handily skips over some key details. As all fans know, on October 1, 1989, 43 babies were simultaneously born to mothers who were not expecting. Reclusive billionaire Reginald Hargreaves swiftly swept up 7 of those kids and raised them to be superheroes. Over time, he discovered and enforced unique powers in each kid: super strength, trajectory control, verbal reality manipulation, mediumship, teleportation, tentacles, and sonic energy manipulation have basically nothing in common, but they make a pretty good team build. Though these powers take wildly different forms, they all came from the same source. Reginald Hargreaves is an alien from a dead planet who came to Earth sometime in the early 20th century. His wife took ill with an unspecified disease, leading him to move heaven and earth to save her. Exhausting his resources, Reginald discovered a reset button for the universe, a safety feature installed by the deistic being who devised the clockwork functions of linear time. Reginald couldn't use the reset button on his own, but he could create the allies he'd require to get him there. Reginald released a mass of golden spores, colloquially referred to as marigolds, into the atmosphere, which traveled the world and entered the body of at least 43 women. The resulting infants were born with superpowers. In other words, the Hargreaves siblings were born with their powers because their birth was caused entirely by Reginald's grand scheme. Beyond that, Reginald's plan eventually comes to fruition, and the Umbrella Academy's powers outlive their usefulness. How did the Umbrella Academy lose their powers? The last thing that happens at the end of the most recent season of the Umbrella Academy is the distressing reveal of the Hargreaves' new circumstances. They've survived their greatest ordeal yet, they've been healed of their wounds, and they're together once again. However, they no longer have their powers. The reset button that grants Reginald his wife back requires the marigold particles as a power source. After it drains that fuel from all 7 of the siblings, it seems to leave them half dead. Turning on the machine grants Reginald the ability to go back in time and change whatever he wants. He could have unmade the family, he could have erased them from the time stream, but he decided to fix them and leave them unharmed. They're the same people they were in the original 2019, but they've been robbed of their powers. The Hargreaves siblings lead very complicated lives, some of which have more to do with their gifts than others. 5 hardly goes an hour without using his power, Luther's super strength is just a part of his body, and Allison's rumor gave her everything she has. On the other hand, Victor went 30 years without his power and Klaus developed several substance abuse issues trying to avoid his. These people grew up with their powers, they're a fundamental part of their lives, for better and for worse. Their reactions vary when they discover their new normal. It's clearly disconcerting for all of them, but it also represents a chance to finally live a normal life. Some of the Hargreaves have built their entire life around the power that made them special, while others fought to be treated normally. Either way, they're powerless, but they're still not normal. As the Umbrella Academy enters its 4th season, the main characters are the same people, but they've lost the gifts that made them who they are. There's a lot to explore in the story of former superheroes who've now lost their powers. Where do the Hargreaves siblings go from here? How do they adjust to having the same abilities as anyone else? Is there any way for them to get their powers back? Would they even want them back? Season 4 has a lot of questions to answer, but there are a lot of interesting details in its setup. The Umbrella Academy has removed the superhero aspect of its superhero family drama, but there's still fun to be had. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and support my channel.